reputations as we start our roundup at lowly Stockport County.
On paper, a difficult away trip for Queen's Park Rangers, meeting the Division 2 high flyers Stockport County on a pitch which was still semi-frozen. And things looked even more difficult for Rangers when their keeper Jan Sterskjaal went down injured and in obvious pain early on. It meant the introduction of Tony Roberts for Rangers, and they didn't immediately panic. Indeed, on 19 minutes, the Premier League side going in front. Les Ferdinand's knockdown and Simon Barker catching the volley superbly. But Stockport have plenty of power up front, and with several Rangers players unsure of their footing, they forced the equaliser on 39 minutes. As Rangers pushed out looking for offside, Kevin Francis stood his ground, there was no flag, and Francis, the tallest striker in league football, scored his 17th of the season. County are an excellent footballing side, and it was no surprise when they went in front on 74 minutes. Andy Priest with an even better strike, his 20th of the season, creating one of the shocks of round 3, a severe blow to Queen's Park Rangers' season. Stockport going well in the league and looking forward to a good cup run too. At St Andrews, further proof of the narrowing gap between league and top non-league sides. Birmingham City rebuilding their club and their team, but looking on course for a routine cup win when Paul Harding gave them an early lead against Kidderminster Harriers. But the GM Vauxhall Conference leaders have lost just 1 in 16 and never looked like folding up here. The defender Paul Bancroft delivering a superb cross from the byline. Neil Cartwright, once a West Bromwich Albion defender, levelling it up. Kidderminster rode their luck at times, most notably when Birmingham earned and then missed a penalty which would have restored the lead. Andy Saville blasting his kick against the woodwork. Kidderminster lived on, and when an opportunity came their way, they seized it. John Purdy, once of Arsenal and Oxford, with a dream cup goal on 64 minutes, leaving City's boss Barry Fry to concentrate on rebuilding, and his own boss Graham Allner celebrating a famous win against the team he supported as a boy. The gap in class was also far from evident in this meeting of Conference Club Bromsgrove and Division 1 strugglers Barnsley. The part-timers in control long before Mark Crisp fired home on 31 minutes, and they dominated nearly all the way. Barnsley plugged on though, and 2 minutes from time, Andy Rammell seized the chance to level from a corner. Still, a replay seemed the least that Bromsgrove would earn when right on full time, Owen Archdeacon hammered home an opportunity which should not really have been presented to him. Barnsley through, but their boss Viv Anderson said, "We are the luckiest team in the world." Notts County perhaps feared the worst against the famous cup giant killers of the Diodora League, but they weren't hanging around to find out. Mark Draper firing home with just 2 minutes on the clock. Sutton struggled all day against County's direct style. Tony Agana picking up the pieces with 10 minutes gone, and at this stage, Sutton looked dead and buried. Even worse was to follow for the team who'd mastered Colchester and Torquay in previous rounds. Sutton down to 10 men when Simon Quayle was sent off. But that fortunately was balanced when County's Michael Johnson immediately followed in the aftermath of the same incident. Referee Kieran Barrett reducing both sides to 10 men, and Sutton took strength from adversity. Back they came, Paul Barracliff seizing on the chance that came his way just past the hour mark. And there was the scent of another fantastic cup upset in the air when Steve Smart bundled home the equaliser on 69 minutes. But Notts County's nerve held, and when Sutton failed to win a free kick for an alleged push on the keeper, Paul Devlin snapped up the opportunity to push County nervously into round 4. But on this show, Sutton will be back again next year. Rural Adams Park seemed as good a place as any to go looking for a cup shock. Wycombe Wanderers under Martin O'Neill have been shaking bigger clubs for quite a while, and his old teammate John Dean was probably taken aback to find himself in charge of Norwich after the departure of Mike Walker. But City's players showed true professionalism. Commentary from Ian Dark.
Fox up against Stapleton once more. Sutton with a return ball. Fox gets it back again. Now Akuku. Good looking ball and surely a goal, and it is for Norwich City. Chris Sutton is the scorer. Guppy starting to run at this Norwich City defence. He takes out Newman. Here's the cross from Guppy, and a shot for Carroll. Point blank range save from Gunn, who keeps Norwich City's lead intact. But Wycombe Wanderers and Dave Carroll were so close there. Fox. It's almost got to the stage where they must expect to win once they get on the coach. Bowen. Fox. And Sutton. And that will do. 2-0. And Chris Sutton's got them both.
Aston Villa, in desperate need of a good cup run, had a trying build-up to their game at Exeter when their defensive rock Paul McGrath went absent without leave on the eve of the match, and Villa lived very dangerously for long periods. They were also grateful for the excellent reflexes of Mark Bosnich, as time and again he was left in the breach. But Villa battled on, and eventually things began to swing their way. Dean Saunders bursting free of his marker to earn a penalty. And Saunders took the chance to edge Villa nervously into round 4. Such has been Southampton's struggle in the Premier League that it wasn't really much of a surprise when Division 2 Port Vale went in front at the Dell. Danny Porter's free kick spooned into his own net by Dave Besant, not the first such mistake made by the keeper this season. And Southampton fans were very grateful for Ian Dowie's close control and powerful finish just before half-time. There was no further scoring, but surely a troublesome replay in store for Southampton. A thrilling cup tie at London Road as the Division 1 strugglers Peterborough gave as good as they got against Tottenham Hotspur, and for a very long time it looked as though the 8 times winners would not be playing much part this season. Jason Brissett seizing his chance to make a name for himself on the hour. Spurs were in desperate trouble when David Kerslake overlapped to connect with Vinnie Samway's pass. A perfect cross when it was needed, and the most important goal Jason Dazelle has scored since arriving at Spurs.
Still more to come.
A highly dramatic cup tie atmosphere at Burnden Park was lent an extra element of theatre as Mike Walker took his place on the bench for the first time as Everton manager. Everton had lost 6 out of 7 before this game, but the first impressions may have pleased Walker. Just before half-time, a precise build-up and a good turn by Paul Rideout. His well-placed shot put the visitors in front. But year in, year out, Bolton generally proved stubborn cup opponents, and when Everton yet again displayed the defensive eccentricities which have plagued them all season, Mark Patterson kept the tie finely balanced. It got even worse for Everton when their midfield anchorman Barry Horn was sent off for elbowing Jason McAteer. Referee Robbie Hart quick to stamp down on an offence which is becoming one easy way to an early bath this season. Everton survived for another day, but only just. After a league thriller against Manchester United, Liverpool's cup journey started well on a sticky pitch. A flash of vintage John Barnes, followed by a flash of vintage one-touch finishing from Ian Rush for his 40th FA Cup goal. But Bristol City are a workmanlike and determined side these days, and when Martin Scott got forward to deliver a perfect cross, Wayne Allison provided the perfect finish. The shots weren't over just yet, at least off the field. Power failure, perhaps induced by almost non-stop rain in the days before the game, the lights flickering and then failing at Ashton Gate. And after a decent wait, the referee Martin Boddenham took the wise decision to abandon the match. These clubs will have to meet again. And with the goals not standing in the record books, Ian Rush still needs 2 more to beat Dennis Law's 20th century record of cup goals. Oldham generally live dangerously in the league, and so too in the cup it seems. First Division Derby County going ahead when Tommy Johnson became the latest striker to find their defence less than watertight. But Joe Royle's bold substitution turned the game after the break. Graham Sharp's knock-on had Derby in trouble, and Darren Beckford sliding in to score with just about his first touch. Oldham never really looked back after that. Mike Milligan's cross knocked back in by Andy Ritchie on the far post, and Ricky Holden stabbing home his 4th since his move back to his adoring faithful at Boundary Park. Both sides finished this game with 10 men as Derby's defender Craig Short finally caught up with Beckford, but their tangle led to both being sent off. On paper, Hillsborough was the venue for one of the best cup ties of the day, as Sheffield Wednesday looked to continue their breathtaking run in League and Cup. And it looked like business as normal when Mark Bright headed home Nigel Worthington's free kick for his 13th of the season before the 10-minute mark. But Forest too are a side on a roll now, and Colin Cooper's deserved late equaliser means that Wednesday have plenty of work to do yet before starting to dream of Wembley once more. A cup classic at Ewood Park. Blackburn looking good when Graham Lasso got to the byline early on, and Alan Shearer found himself in space to score his 21st of the season with 21 minutes gone. But Portsmouth are a quality side too, and their quality players showed the way back. Alan McLaughlin combining with Paul Walsh and then providing a quality finish. Blackburn aren't used to troublesome opponents at home, and they poured on the pressure. Stuart Ripley's cross from the right-hand side was perfect, and Kevin Gallagher restored Rovers' lead with 20 minutes left. Still, Portsmouth weren't knocked out of their stride. McLaughlin again stealing into space in the opposition penalty box and ramming home his 2nd. Back down the other end, 5 minutes to go, and Tim Sherwood seizing on a half-cleared corner to ram home what surely looked like the winner this time. But yet again, Pompey refused to lie down. Ray Daniels' free kick knocked on a couple of times, Blackburn didn't clear it, and McLaughlin got in again to complete a famous hat-trick in the most thrilling cup tie played anywhere.